How's it going, Yankee fans? Welcome back to Fireside Yankees with your boys, Alex and Ryan. So yesterday's rant, I know a lot of people enjoyed listening to us really try to tear apart this team. And another example yesterday, 6-4 loss. Strowman looked horrible. I don't really know what to say anymore. Like, we're beating a dead horse at this point. So I wanted to take a look at some of the pieces that we're going to be getting back from our own roster in the pitching department. Like, the pitching has been bad. The hitting has been inconsistent and kind of bad. Not kind of, very bad. So, where are we looking to find aid? Where are we looking to find talent here? You can't solve every position at the trade deadline. It's not realistic. It's not sustainable. I think that Brian Cashman will be aggressive and he will add some key pieces. But let's take a look at some of the guys that are coming back in the pitching department, rather, whether it be starting rotation or bullpen. Right off the bat, Clark Schmidt. Clark Schmidt threw 20 pitches off the mound on Saturday. I when he comes back, Ryan, do you think that he's a starter, or do you think there's a world where we see him in the bullpen? Maybe they move Luis Heel to the bullpen, try to minimize his innings. How do you see Clark Schmidt returning from this lat injury and making an instant impact in a positive way?
Yeah, I think Clark Schmidt should come back as a starter. He missed his bats. I know that he got better kind of as the season was going on. His stuff is really good. I feel like the command kept getting better. And overall, I just think the Yankees are a better team with him. They're a better team with him involved in the rotation because I don't necessarily trust their current starters. I don't think Strowman throws enough strikes. I don't think Rodon does kind of anything particularly well right now. So, that's not really going well for them. Heel and Cole, feel good with them. Feel really good about Heel. Feel really good, especially with the slider he's throwing. Cole, he's Garrett Cole. Pedigree speaks for itself. And then, man, I'm forgetting his Nestor. It's just so bad on the road, right? Like on the road, it's so unbelievably
unplayable.
Bad. It's like, yeah, it's just it's strange almost. It's kind of weird. I don't really understand it, but I guess one day we'll understand it. It's
got
not
rocked at home
today.
Too recently.
Yeah, he did get rocked at home recently. That is, it has not been a great string of starts for Nestor. And you just kind of look at the rotation right now. They need Schmidt there. They need Schmidt to get a start. They need him to start. And I know that people kind of got freaked out by him saying, I expect to be built up by the end of the season, something like that. Guys, it's not going to take him 3 months to build up as a starter. It didn't even take Cole 3 months, and he didn't Cole didn't even get to go through a spring training. Schmidt has pitched. Schmidt just threw a bullpen. It's not going to take 3 months from this point forward to get him ready to start again. I think we could see him at some point in August. I don't think that's too unrealistic. It's like a 4 or 5 week buildup. We'll see though. I'm not a doctor. I can't really tell you guys anything for sure. But he has to come back as a starter in my opinion. They need it, dude. They need starting pitching. I don't know why I don't think that's controversial. I think they need a starter.
No, they absolutely need a starter. We've heard the rumors that the Yankees are willing to give up for the first time Spencer Jones in a deal that may include a Garrett Crochet or a Tariq Skubal. I just don't think Tariq is even remotely an option for us. I think that the Orioles have the best chance at landing a player of that magnitude. Crochet could be an opportunity. We'll see what the Yankees do here, but Clark Schmidt had a 2.54 ERA before he went down, and Cody Poteet had 2.14 ERA. Again, 21 innings, not much of a sample there, but Clark Schmidt had 60.1 innings, I believe. Clark can be an asset for us, right? If you have a rotation that's Garrett Cole, you know what? It's just the Rodon's actually cooking us right now. It's so horrible to see because Nestor Cortez, he was great. He's had a couple of good seasons, but his averages, his mean is an okay player, right? His mean is a good, not great player. He's a 3.99 ERA right now, I believe, something like that, 4 ERA. He's an okay player, right? He can be better than that. I know he can be. Right now, he's not. I just don't. I think we're seeing the averages of Nestor Cortez. We're just seeing career averages of Nestor Cortez. Rear its ugly face, and that's unfortunately the truth. Carlos Rodon is a shell of himself. The velocity looks fine. He can't locate. He can't locate his fastball. He throws a slider well, but when he throws that thing over the plate, they mash it. Marcus Strowman gave up a home run in the first inning to the leadoff hitter yesterday. The Yankees are putting themselves in deficits so early in games. It's becoming unsustainable to win. You're down 1-0 in the first inning. You're already demoralized. Think about what that does to your team. You're praying that Juan Soto or Aaron Judge saves you. And Judge hit a 3-run home run yesterday, and we were still losing. You know what I mean? That's unacceptable. You can't have your best player hitting 3-run home runs and you're still freaking losing on game day. So it's this is where I face the question is, do we need starting pitching? Do we need bats? Do we need bullpen? Well, Clark Schmidt will offer a lot of support. I think you're right. I think he should be starting. What role does Cody Poteet play? A long inning relief role, probably. But who moves to the bullpen? If Clark Schmidt comes back and he starts, who are you pushing to the bullpen in that instance?
I mean, it's got to be Rodon, right? Like, right now, it feels like...
Do you even trust him in the bullpen, though? He's getting mashed right off the bat.
I mean, I don't have to...
It's so bad.
Here's what I will say. I don't know in the postseason if I'm using Rodon or Strowman on the playoff roster. Maybe I'll keep Strowman on. Maybe. I mean, that's also me. The problem with Strowman is he walks a lot of people and he gives up a lot of home runs. So like, that's a really bad... that's an awful combination. His ground ball rate is lower than it's ever been, like, by far at any point in his career, which also is extremely strange. He's just, his fastball velo's down nearly 2 miles an hour. Like, I feel like we're just at the point where Marcus Stroman is no longer a good pitcher. And I hate saying that. Like, I'm not happy to say that. I don't wish ill on any player on the Yankees, but like the guy's velo's down a good chunk. He sits 90.6. Like, he was sitting 92.2 last year.
Wow.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what's wrong.
That's massive.
Mechanically off, but yeah, that is a huge, huge change. And I don't know, like, I can't trust that in the postseason. The stuff isn't firm, the stuff isn't crisp. The command isn't there. He can't put guys away. He can't throw as hard as he did last year. I don't know, like, I'm kind of out on that profile. Rodon at least gets to swing and miss. Like, I can at least expect Rodon to, like, miss bats, and he kind of struggles the later he gets into a start sometimes. And, like, I know it's the first inning too, but like, his slide, he can miss bats, and I can trust that a little bit more in a reliever role. I mean, the team is just kind of like, we're kind of sitting here. We're talking about two guys too in the rotation where like they make like $44 million combined.
Lots of millions
for this year and next year. So like, I don't, like, Alex, I'm not really sure what to say anymore. Like, they spend money and it doesn't work. And I'm not saying that like we were both down on signing Strowman or down on signing Rodon, but like,
it wasn't our first option. Strowman was not our first option.
Right. I'm just saying, like, end of the day, like, it falls on the team to, like, make good acquisitions, and they drop the ball in free agency every single time. Like, this is a bad signing. Like, I don't want to, like, sugarcoat this. This is a signing that, like, this is a negative asset contract. Like, teams would not take this contract on, and if it vests for 2026, you have...
Worst. Yeah, it's so bad.
Yeah, it's so like,
bad.
And it can
17 mil locked up.
Yeah, this year doesn't affect it. It's next year. It's 140 innings pitched next year. Right, like, this rotation is just kind of in shambles. I know I didn't even get to talk about Cody Poteet. He's depth starter, organizational depth. I'm not too moved by the ERA. Like, I think he's fun, but he's not
small
like,
sample. Right,
like, I know he's not a great starter, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I just know he's more depth. I'm not going to oversell his value. And then the last thing with this rotation and kind of this pitching staff, I mean, it's just how much money they have invested in the rotation. It's still not good enough. How many trade pieces have they put into rotation? It's still not good enough. It takes a lot for this team to be good from a prospect trading and a financial standpoint, and that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, it doesn't make sense how much money it takes to put a good roster together when, like, think of who they're not paying. Like, they're not paying Cortez really much, and he's their third best starter. Heel isn't making any money. He's been their best starter. Cole makes a lot of money, but he's also Garrett Cole.
He has earned it.
Garrett Cole's the example of, like, a good financial investment. You know what I mean? You paid Weaver basically nothing. He's awesome. Tim Hill, Michael Tonkin, they're awesome. They don't make any money. I know Jake Cousins gave a home run yesterday, but he's been mostly pretty good, and he costs you nothing. Caleb Ferguson costs you a prospect. He's been awful. Trevino costs you nothing. He's been a good get ever since you've landed him. Soto, obviously, big investment, but, like, it's Juan fucking Soto. Same thing with Aaron Judge. It's Aaron fucking Judge. Verdugo, like, he sucks. He's bad. He has like 80-something WRC plus. LeMahieu's been an awful contract. Yeah, 2 more years of him. There's just so much dead money on the roster, and it feels like there's only, like, we only add more dead money through free agency. There's what's the last, like, it can't keep going like this. The Yankees really need to have a deep conversation with themselves about how they get players,
There's got to be an age cutoff, right? Like, there's got to be, like, a situation where they're like, okay, we can't extend players beyond the age of, like, 35, because they're seeing DJ LeMahieu, 36 years old right now, experience just regression beyond our wildest dreams. Anthony Rizzo, regression beyond our wildest dreams. Stanton, regression beyond our wildest dreams. You know what I mean? Like, we're seeing players after a certain age, they're hitting physical walls. Same thing with Josh. Like, you're gonna go get 37-year-old Josh Donaldson. Like, what are we really doing here? You know, we need young players. We need aura. We need energy. These guys are barely getting through games half the time, and they're like low energy. They can't run. We're the most unathletic team in the game. Like, we need someone with some freaking spark. And like, that's kind of where I sit, is like, you know, Carlos Rodon's a little bit older. He's not that old. He should be fine. Strowman's 33. But his numbers, as you said, the velocity's down, his ground ball percentage for the first time in his career is sub 50%. We were talking about a guy that was a 57% ground ball rate guy last year. He's 49.2. His strikeouts are down. His walks are up. His home runs are up. What's going on here? Like, why is it that every time the Yankees touch a player, they turn into dust? You know, what is happening that they're signing players and they're immediately regressing to levels they've never experienced before? I don't really get it. There've been opportunities with, like, if you mix, like, they managed to get so much value from guys that cost absolutely nothing, and they managed to get so little value from guys that cost an arm and a leg. It is so bewildering how that's possible. How are you spending $20+ billion on players and you're getting absolutely nothing but liabilities, but then you're spending $1,600,000 on guys who shouldn't even be pitching and are getting tremendous value? Tonkin, Tim Hill, you've listed off a bunch there. Ian Hamilton, when they acquired him, they got so much value. Clay Holmes from guys that shouldn't have been that good, but it's the expensive ones that suck. DJ LeMahieu's making $15 million per season. You know, of course, Glaber's making $15 million this year. Anthony Rizzo's making $20 million this year. You know, of course, Soto's the exception here, and Judge, but you know, they have missed blindly on some of these big contracts. Carlos Rodon's making what is it, $26 million per season, something like that, and he's offering you a near 5 ERA production. I mean, what the hell, man? I mean, Strowman, he's a 3.51 ERA. It's okay, but he's volatile, and he's making $18.5 million per season. What is going on where the Yankees cannot spend money properly, but they can sign these nobodies that you've never heard of and turn them into star players? You know what I mean? Like, this is an equation that is completely backward. I think that's kind of what you're getting at here, right?
It doesn't make sense. Like, it genuinely does not make sense how the Yankees kind of operate from that standpoint, in the sense that they just can't seem to pull it off. They can't seem to get good. They can't seem to spend money and make it work. And it's interesting because the guys that they kind of have come out of nowhere and the development success stories, it reflects well on the Matt Blakes of the world, right, and the Sam Breens of the world, and it makes you ask yourself, like, these guys were coming in, are they like, I'm speculating here, are they open, are they receptive to data or information or development? Like, how receptive do you think Alex Verdugo is to trying to work on getting the ball out to right field? How receptive do you think it took Carlos Rodon how many starts to figure out his fastball sucked? You know what I mean?
The Verdugo thing is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling.
It's literally a ground ball to second base every time.
What he said yesterday, mind-boggling. Is that a real quote? Am I bugging, or did he actually say he was trying to hit Oppo in Yankee Stadium?
I get that from a mental cue standpoint, right? Like, you can cue yourself to get the ball to the other side of the field, and it gives you maybe more time. It opens your body up to do the things you need to do to pull the ball to right field. Like, it's kind of like, and I know this is an obscure reference, but in Cars, like Doc Hudson tells McQueen, you got to turn left to go right or something like that, and it sounds dumb at first, but it works. It's just some people need mental cues, and I think I overreacted at first during the quote for sure. But yeah, like, from a standpoint of what Verdugo should be doing, no, Verdugo's game isn't best when he's going to the other field. His game will be best if he's pulling the ball and getting the ball out to right field. He can't pepper the ball off of left field. He does not have that kind of power. Like, Soto has ridiculous power, and he'll drive the ball to the left center field gap, and I'm not saying it doesn't get out, but, like, dude, he's really got to get into one to get it out there, and he's aware of that. You know, Soto knows how hard it is to get the ball out to left center field. He has freakish power. Verdugo does not have that kind of power. So if you're Alex Verdugo, you've got to be driving the ball to right field. You've got to find a way to get the ball to right field in the air. Slapping the ball the other way, that's fine, right? Like, if you had a ground ball, I would prefer it to be the other way, because if you can get it the other way, you know, you're going to have a better time getting hits. Opposite field ground balls perform better than pulled ground balls. And you know, if Verdugo's only going to hit the ball on the ground, I would prefer him to go the other way. But if Verdugo's going to be a productive hitter, he has to hit for some power, and he's not taking advantage of the ballpark he plays in, and that's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch this lineup and know that only two guys, or, you know, the occasional Rice and Wells home run, and then I appreciate what they've done lately. And I think, you know, there may be guys who are out, who are, their role is currently too large in the offense because of, right? Like,
leaning on rookies.
Right, like I'm not trying. Like I think we both every time, even when Rice came up, I think one of the conversations we had was about it's important to kind of have perspective on who these players are. They are young players. They are rookies. You cannot expect them to change the outlook of your offense like this. But I do think Rice does good things at the plate. I do think Wells does good things at the plate. I think that those two guys as like supplementary bats are awesome. But when they're supposed to guide your offense, that's a problem, right? Like that's...
Yes.
You can't, like, I know Gleyber falling off, like, that's something that, like, they weren't expecting that, and I didn't expect that. I understand that that's something you can't account for, but Volpe's been better than he was last year. I know he struggled, but he's better than he was last year. Stanton was miles better than he was last year. Trevino was significantly better than he was last year. Those are three key pieces who are a lot better than they were last year. So why are you not, like, you are a much better offense than you were last year, for sure. Last year's offense, I don't even want to think of last year's offense. But this year's team, right, like, they're in a slump right now because not even half, like, 6 guys in their offense can't really put the ball over the fence. 5 guys in their offense can't really put the ball over the fence. When Verdugo comes up, like, it's a ground ball. It's not a home run. It's never going to be a home run. He's never going to hit a home run with runners on. DJ's never going to hit a home run, ever. Like, I don't know if that guy is ever going to hit a ball over the seats. Cabrera doesn't have that kind of power. Volpe doesn't have that kind of power. So, I mean, you're the Bronx Bombers. Your job is to hit the ball over the fence. That's what you're supposed to be good at. You're supposed to be great at it. It can't be 2 guys. It can't be Soto and Judge. It was interesting to hear Strowman even say that after the game. Like, yeah, we can't rely on those 2 guys to come through every time. And, yeah, you can't. You can't win baseball games like that. And they're trying to win baseball games playing 2v9. Like, dude, I need other guys to hit home runs. I need other guys to do it. And, honestly, Brian Cashman, like, the deadline's the 30th. I get that. Dude, I need a trade, like, soon.
Now.
Like, I need a trade, like, next couple days. This is a team that needs an early deadline deal. The Padres got to rise in May. I'm not saying that to say that, like, that should be the bar of excellence. Like, I don't really, like, I'm not really, like, they should trade for a guy.
But they acknowledge they had a need.
The draft is over. My point is the draft is over. The hurdle, the thing that I really, like, hey, you shouldn't trade before the draft. I get it. You got to focus on the draft. Draft's over. It's been over for a couple days. I want to trade. I need somebody. I'm not saying it's got to be. I'm not saying give me Garrett Crochet tomorrow. But can you get me like a supplementary bat? The Marlins suck. They're not good. You can't get me Jazz Chisholm or Tanner Scott in the next couple days. They're selling. Like they know they're selling. I get that some teams don't know they're selling. Alex, the Marlins have been in sell mode since they've been their GM said they weren't gonna make the playoffs like fucking April. You know what I mean? Like, dude, these guys suck. Let's get a piece. Like, Tanner Scott, Nordy, Puck. Chisholm, let's get something. I need to feel something. This team needs something. This team needs somebody. They need somebody right now. They like the break didn't fix them. The winning the series in Baltimore didn't fix them. They need help now. And I know Stan's coming back. I know they got pitching coming back, but they need help mañana, like tomorrow. They're gonna play Boston and Philly soon. Dude, if they drop a series to Boston, they might fall back and they are in danger right now in that playoff spot. They need somebody now, like today, like tomorrow, that kind of thing. They need somebody as soon as possible, man.
Yeah, the cushion's gone. The cushion that that Aaron Boone referenced a couple weeks ago. Thank God we had a strong start to the season, or Cashman said it. That's gone. It is disappearing before our eyes. They have no time to waste, as you kind of referenced there. So, the problem is the Yankees went 2 for 10 with runners on base yesterday, with runners in scoring position. They left 9 men on base yesterday. 9 men on base yesterday. They have no one that can get the freaking ball out of the infield, beyond Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. They don't have anyone that can drive runners in. They don't have guys that can hit home runs beyond those 2 guys. They, aside from Wells and Ben Rice's occasional walking into one, they need somebody that is going to step in with runners on base, hitting number 5, with Soto and Judge on, or even number 4, that is going to drive these guys in. Oswaldo Cabrera had a run and 2 hits yesterday. He was better than DJ LeMay. This guy, DJ LeMay, he was 0 for 17. And then Oswaldo comes in, has 2 hits, and this guy is also below average. Like, I mean, we're looking at devastation.
I also want to throw this in here. I get Gleyber. Gleyber had a bad day yesterday. Gleyber's been bad all year.
So bad.
This isn't the Gleyber apologist, like, oh man, Gleyber's been bad, but shucks, man, just keep playing him.
Freaking infield ground ball.
But why the hell is DJ LeMahieu playing today? I don't need to see him in the lineup. Like, I'm not saying Gleyber's good, but I would much rather, like, the gap between LeMahieu and Torres is massive, and that's with Gleyber being a bad hitter. Why am I seeing LeMahieu play? Why?
30%
Why do we
difference.
need to see him play? Why do we need to see him play? Boone, why the hell is he playing today? Like, we don't need to get him going. He sucks. He's bad. He's done. He's done. I get it. You can't publicly give up on a guy. But you can give up on a guy in terms of stop playing him every day. You can give up on a guy in a sense of he does not have to play. If Aaron Boone wants to tell me he has to play, he is wrong. He does not have to play. You do not have to play bad veterans. Did you feel like you had to play Ben Rice when you called up? No, because you kept fucking playing J.D. Davis over him until you suddenly realized, oh shit, yeah, J.D. Davis sucks. You didn't call up Vivas and go, I have to play him, because even though he was the guy who came up for the weekend and honestly should have probably played in that series. Why the hell does DJ LeMahieu have to play? Why does he have to play? Because he won a batting title in 2020? In 2020, I was in high school. In 2020, J.A. Happ was on this team. In 2020, Paul Goldschmidt was one of the best first basemen in baseball. In 2020 is almost half a decade ago, dude. We're talking about almost 5 years ago. Do I care what he did in 2020? No. Do I care what he did in 2019? No. He is not that good anymore. He's not good. He's straight up not good anymore. I don't need to see him play. I really don't. I don't get it, man. I don't need to see the guy play. I don't rip public comments. Like Boone saying it's right in front of us. Man, I'm not going to lose my mind over that. I know it's frustrating to hear, but his job isn't to inspire me. His job isn't to tell me the team sucks. His job is to put the right guys, the right 9 guys in the field, pull the right guy out of the bullpen, pull the starter at the right time, those kinds of things. I think he manages the bullpen pretty well. I think he pulls starters aggressively. I think he does those things fine, right? But I can't see LeMahieu on the field, dude. He can't play. You've got a couple days to the, not a couple, you got a few days to the deadline. After the deadline, this dude shouldn't play. You don't need to get him going. Play your best 9 guys. You need to win. You need to get on a roll. I don't get this shit, Alex. I don't get this shit.
Yeah. No, I understand. I'm in the same boat as you, and I think this team has a lot of work to do. They need help now. They can't wait for it because it's not just going to just happen. It's not just going to come out of thin air. They need to actually go and execute these deals. I know Cashman's being patient, trying to find the right opportunities, and teams know that we need it badly, so they're definitely driving the price up on us. But the truth is, if you want to win a World Series, you got to make these moves now. But guys, always happy to hear your thoughts down below in the YouTube comment section. Make sure to like and subscribe as always, and we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees episode.
Perfect.